Hey everyone, I'm Dalin Hassan. Welcome to Inspire Middle East. This week we are taking an in-depth look at how the local and international fashion industry is measuring up during the COVID-19 crisis and the predictions to what the future holds.
The future for me is not bleak. It's really important for people to be positive.
Later in the show, we'll size up how young Lebanese designers in disaster-hit Beirut are working together to rebuild their businesses in a sustainable way. But first, fashion designers globally are exploring new ways to showcase their collections and channel their creativity. I sat down with UAE-based celebrity couturier Michael Cinco to hear more about the trials and tribulations of running a fashion house during these unusual times. Shopping for high-end apparel and accessories fell out of fashion when the COVID-19 pandemic struck. Sales of personal luxury goods could drop by up to 35% this year, says Bain & Co., with the market not recovering to pre-pandemic levels until at least 2022, after which time the sector will gradually strengthen again to be worth a potential $386 billion by 2025. Many in the global industry were quick to adapt, with international brands using their supply chains to produce hospital gowns and masks for health workers. Regional designers also rolled up their sleeves, and marking the first-of-a-kind campaign in the region, the Arab Fashion Council, the Dubai Health Authority, and Dubai Design District joined forces for the campaign, A Thread for Cause, with the aim of giving back and helping the local community. Dubai-based Filipino couturier to the stars, Michael Cinco, saw the pandemic as a call to action. Under AFC's initiative, his atelier with 120 workers made a protective lab coats with a sartorial twist. Cinco has been part of the region's elite fashion pack since 2003, and he's carved out a reputation for sparkling, waist-hugging creations which have been worn by the likes of Beyoncé, Britney Spears, Jennifer Lopez, and numerous regional royals. I went to his atelier to see if the stakes were especially high in high fashion at this time. Michael, it's great to see you and warm welcome to Inspire Middle East.
Thank you so much for inviting me here.
It's no secret that the fashion world has been hit hard by the coronavirus. Can you tell us about the difficulties you faced during these challenging times and how have you had to adapt?
Fashion, in fact, is one of the businesses that is mostly vulnerable to disruption, and it relies heavily on spending. It's very strange for us also because now we don't have fashion weeks, so we have to make our new way of presenting your product to the media and to the world. I think the virtual fashion show and marketing your collection in Instagram and Facebook is the new place to present the collection.
At the start of the pandemic, your atelier swapped red carpet gowns in favor of medical gowns. What made you decide to join the Arab Fashion Council's A Thread for Cause initiative and help provide for frontline workers?
It's something like the time to reflect about my life and about everything that I have to do in the future. But at the same time, I was thinking what can I do to give to the UAE government community, which has been very good to me for supporting and giving me the opportunity to open my business for almost 23 years now in Dubai. So I immediately said yes when I was approached by the Arab Fashion Council to produce personal protective equipment for the medical frontliners in collaboration with Dubai Health Authority. I think I produced 3,000 medical and laboratory gowns for the frontliners.
Michael, despite these difficult times, you've once again wowed us with your new collection, Impalpable Dream of Hope. Can you walk us through your inspiration and tell us why you decided to make it practical?
During lockdown, I was inspired to create a collection that will inspire people to dream and to have hope in the future. This is the moment where people will fight to be alive. So I created a collection that is more practical. Actually, most of the collection are upcycled. So I went to my warehouse and I saw a lot of beautiful fabrics that has never been used for how many years. I took them and I created designs and create a collection that is very fresh, new, and adapting to the new normal.
With countries placing restrictions on wedding sizes and events, what changes in need have you seen from your clients and how have you had to modify your creative process to meet them?
I think we have to adjust the price first and foremost, because at this point in time, when the world is in recession, no one really wants to spend or to buy expensive clothes. Before, I used to have wedding gowns with 6 digits. And I have to adjust the size of the wedding dress. I have to make something like adaptable to the new normal, which is less volume. It might be simple or small or simple dress, but there's still the Michael Cinco touch.
We have begun to see more couturiers from East Asia and the Middle East showcase their collections on the runway of the exclusive Haute Couture Fashion Week. Do you believe it is the golden age for designers from that part of the world?
I think designers from the Middle East and in Asia in particular has a very opulent background about couture. We all come from the same place where women appreciate the creativity in creating a couture piece, the embroideries, the crystals. In Europe, they don't really rely on that kind of ornaments to create a certain piece. And I think fashion is flourishing here in the Middle East or in Asia part because there is a connection. And the designers and the consumers and the customers have a mutual understanding.
Lastly, what do you think the fashion world will look like when we reach the other side of the pandemic?
I'm very optimistic that people will realize that's the time that we will be responsible in spending money. Women should realize now how to buy a couture piece or a certain expensive item that they can keep forever. It's an investment. The future for me is not bleak. You know, it's really important for people to be positive and to look at life in a glass half full than a glass half empty.
Michael, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much also, and I'm so honored.
Following COVID-19 and an explosion that shook Lebanon's capital in August, key members of its design community have rallied to use their brands as platforms for good. Rebecca McLaughlin-Easton has this story on how emerging labels are looking to be sustainable, stylish, and supportive in equal measure during these times.
The creative community that jettisoned designers like Elie Saab, Zuhair Murad, and Reem Acra to international fame and fortune is in turmoil due to a triple crisis. Lebanese-based designers are grappling with the country's worst economic situation in history. The pandemic has caused fashion sales to crash, and ateliers of established and emerging brands were devastated by August's port explosion. But help is at hand, with a stylish safety net provided by the United for Lebanese Creatives campaign. It's a globally backed crowdfunding initiative which identified more than 30 Lebanese designers and artists with damages running into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. A recipient is designer Ronnie Halou, who established his Beirut-based label in 2017, based on the principles of sustainable fashion. His workshop was devastated in August, and the 28-year-old didn't have insurance.
Because of the blast, we had a lot of physical damages, whether in the atelier, in the equipments, machines, patterns, fabrics, the collections as well. Also, we had to cancel a lot of orders, so we estimate the damages at $15,000. We're going to be using the money from the fund to rebuild the atelier and sustain the brand and keep paying salaries.
Ronnie lost an entire men's collection due for September release in the UAE. It was made up of environmentally friendly, discarded fabrics and so-called dead stocks of materials. Like Ronnie, ready-to-wear and couture designers George Azzi and Assad Osta are equally eco-conscious in their approach to fashion. The duo, who set up shop in 2010, have dressed the likes of Sharon Stone and Queen Rania of Jordan. And they are also recipients of the United for Lebanese Creatives Fund, having seen their new headquarters plus their collection and back catalogues destroyed 2 months ago.
The damage was on all levels. Physically, we had 10 injured staff members, and also the collections, embroideries, library, the archives. The damage is around no less than $100,000, and it will take, of course, no less than 1 year to reconstruct everything.
Lebanese designers have the compassion of the global fashion community right now, which was evident during September's Milan Fashion Week, where 6 Lebanese designers were showcased on a digital platform alongside giants of the industry.
It was a great opportunity being part of Milan Fashion Week. It helped shed the light on the brand, and our spot was scheduled just before the Valentino show, which gave us more visibility and gave us hope and even strength to go on and keep on giving.
Azzy, Oster and Ronnie were all proud to fly the creative flag for their struggling country, and prouder still to bring their brands to a global audience which has arguably never been paying such close attention.
Well, that wraps up our show for this week. Do remember to check all of our episodes online at Euronews.com, as well as these fashion-savvy Instagrammers we spotted this week. Thanks for watching, and they'll see you soon. Egyptian model Samak captioned this shot with the phrase, "In your garden, you are the creator." And the Franco-Cameroonian model O'Brien believes that we all see the same world differently.